Hello again, it's Missy, and this is my crazy knitting video thing that I do. I guess it's a podcast at this point, I don't know. Welcome back to any returning viewers, and welcome to anybody who's chosen to check me out today. This is not going to be a normal video. Instead of showing what I've been working on this week, I have pulled out all of my works in progress. I took a short video of them laid out on my bed, and I'll have it inserted somewhere in around here-ish. I want to apologize about any ambient noise. It is way too hot today to do this without an air conditioner. It is above 80 and it gets very, very hot in this room. So I can't turn off the air conditioner this time. I'm sorry. We are working on getting a quieter air conditioner for in here, but that'll be a couple of weeks. Anyway, I haven't really gone through all of this, which is over on my bed over here. I vaguely put what I remember each thing being into categories, so yeah. I say let's start with spinning, because why not? That's the closest to my hand. The most recent spinning project I have, and the bobbin of this is still on my wheel, so I'm not going to take it off because I'm in the middle of spinning it. But it is Moon Rover's January Fiber Club. And it is superwash merino and nylon 8515 in these lovely colors. I showed this last week, I think, on my regular video, and I've just got this little bit. It's maybe a third of it left to go, so I'm moving pretty quickly on that one. That is on my Firefly, Spinolution Firefly wheel, which I love. In the last couple of years, I've had a lot of problems with my knee, which means that sitting at the traditional wheel, I can sit for maybe 5-10 minutes and spin, and then I have to stop because my knee starts screaming in pain, and then I can't walk for 2 days. So I got a Spinolution Firefly electric wheel, and I love it. It took some getting used to, because it's a lot different than the Kromsky that I have. I have a Kromsky Minstrel, which I also love. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. But because it's an electric wheel rather than a treadle wheel, the take-up is different, the functions are different, so it did take some getting used to, but now that I'm used to it, I can almost do everything I want on it just like I can on the Kromsky. I'm still working on not over-twisting my yarns. I have a tendency to over twist, which means I end up with nearly rope and all the squishiness of the wool is taken out. So I'm working on that, and I have gotten a lot better over this past year of not taking all the squishiness out. Let's see, also on my Spinolution wheel, here it is, I have this wool top strudel, she calls it, from Steph Knits on Etsy. The pastels colorway. This one is merino and sparkle. Some of them she has are BFL, some of them are BFL and sparkle. I have several of them. And I'm not finished with that, obviously. I have about this much. It's at least half of it, but this is an 8-ounce bag, so it's a fairly large amount. And I've just been breaking it up into little bits and spinning it, and I'll probably chain ply this to keep the colors together. So, and this, it's still kind of squishy, so I'm doing pretty good on this. And that'll go back on the wheel as soon as I'm done with the Moon Rover fibers. I have another one that's on a Spinolution bobbin that just needs plying, and somehow I forgot to bring it in here. Oops. It's also from Steph Knits. It's I spun that one as a gradient from red down through, I believe it goes to blue, but I'm not sure. It's been a while. I like to fill all my bobbins and then have one massive plying session, because I have to change the head on my Firefly. I have an 8 ounce and a 32 ounce. I have to take the 8 ounce off and put the 32 ounce on. And that's what I ply on. And for those interested, the next bit's actually on a 32 ounce bobbin. It doesn't need to be, it's only a 4 ounce braid. It's on a 32 ounce bobbin. They're this big. It's the size of my head. This is some, I believe it's merino from Girll's Art that I got a long time ago. This is some deep stash stuff. A little bit of slub there. I do not have the, there it is. I do have the tag. I have it currently in a bag with another braid from Girll's Art that I have not started spinning yet. That may be the next thing. I still have one more 8 ounce bobbin that's completely empty that I want to put something on before I ply. So I may put this on. This is from Girll's Art. This is 4 ounces of Blue Face Leicester in the Deep Blue Sea colorway, and it's these beautiful blues and greens and purples. You'll notice I like blues and greens and purples. There's a lot of that going in my stash. All right, now this one that I am actually, dropped my bag, actually spinning on. This one is 4 ounces of merino in the Proud Peacock colorway. And that's Girll's Art, G-A-L-E, on Etsy. Here's her information. Hopefully y'all can read that. It shows up backwards in my camera, but I think it's right side up on the, I think it's the right way in YouTube. So that is on an 8 ounce bobbin, or a 32 ounce bobbin. Now, since it's only 4 ounces, what I can do is I can go ahead and ply it, or I can fill the bobbin with another 3 or 4 braids before I ply it. I haven't decided yet. I also haven't been working on it much. This will be the first thing I do once I change heads from the 8 ounce to the 32 ounces. I'll finish this. Now, it's spinning. Part of what's taking so long on this one, other than having switched heads, is it's spinning very fine. Now, this will probably be about a sport weight once I chain ply it, but that's still, you know, that's a lot of yardage. Because it'll probably be around 300 yards once I'm finished. So yeah, I think when I'm spinning singles, I'm spinning triple that. So that's like 900 yards of single spinning. So it takes a while to get it done when you're spinning that thin. But most of my spins tend to be that thin. That is all that I have on Spinolution bobbins right now, except for that one that I forgot to bring in here that just needs plying. Now, on my Kromsky, what is actively on the wheel, I didn't take the bobbin off, I just brought fiber in. This is some basic wool, I don't know what kind, that my aunt, same one that gave me the loom actually, she gave me a big bag of it, and I dyed some of it into, guess what, blues and greens and purples. Big surprise, right? And I'm spinning this. It's a rougher wool, so this will probably end up being for socks. So yeah, it's going to take a while to finish that one too. And I don't get to spin on it very often. I don't have a really comfortable place to sit at that wheel right now because of all the moving around. Now this chair I'm currently in is the right height, so I may bring it into my bedroom and work on it some in there. It depends, because I do share a bedroom with my husband, so you know, we have to discuss these things before I just do them, but also I have, this is from Woolen Mill Street Yarns on Etsy. This is most of it. I still have a little bit left. It is Corriedale, and I cannot remember the colorway name. I'm going to need to see if I can find the tag. This is the one that Rico keeps stealing. So I have no idea where the tag went. He took off with it. He loves Corriedale. He leaves the rest of my fiber and yarn alone, but Corriedale, he takes off and off he goes. I believe it may be Zoe from Firefly. But yeah, so it's just on a bobbin. I will slap it back on the wheel when I'm done with the blue and finish spinning it, and it will again be chain ply. That's my favorite way to ply hand-painted rovings, because it keeps the colors together and I like it. So that one's on the Kromsky. This one is just waiting to be plied. Now I have more of it that it's been wound into center pull balls, and it's somewhere. It's been a victim of the great relocation of 2017, so it's around here somewhere. This is Merino from the Painted Tiger, and it's called Aurora. And it's purples and pinks, and once again it will be chain plied because I chain ply. And yeah, it's just waiting to be plied. I have all the fibers spun, so when I put my plying head on, it'll get plied. Also spinning. We're still in spinning, y'all. Yeah. This is one of my spindle spins. There it is. This will be a 3-ply, and I am most of the way through the first ply. This is the second, and the third is still. This is in my very classy liquor box, but it protects the spindle, so. This is from Spunky Eclectic, and it is 4 ounces of merino, 60% merino, 30% bamboo, 10% nylon. And it's called in the colorway Walking on the Sun. And it is mostly yellow with little bits of white and orange. And this will be a traditional 3-ply. I have found I can spin pretty much a full ply on these spindles without having to wind them off. No, get in there. And this is stop sign spindle. My brother made me this spindle. I love this spindle. And it's not super thick, it's spinning pretty thin. And my wind-on's not fantastic right now because it got... Rico is usually the only cat that tries to take fiber. Dale thought it looked like fun and tried to take off with this. He was informed that, no, that is not a good idea. Please give me back my spindle and stay out of my sewing room. Thank you. So, and that one, I don't work on it very often. I don't spindle spin very often. So it's been kind of on the back burner recently. But I'll pick it back up shortly. Now, what I have actively been spinning on a spindle is this. This is another braid from Girll's Art. It is mixed BFL. I am on the last ply of a 3-ply. Also on a spindle that my brother made for me. It's a very simple spindle, and yeah, I love these spindles. Now, I have finished the first 2 plies of this, and they have been finished. The first one's been finished for probably about 3 years now. The reason this is taking so long is not because I've not been spinning on it, but because I lost the last third of the fiber. Now, when we moved into this house, I found it, so I started spinning it, and that's where I'm at. I've got this much left. And this is a mixed BFL fiber in the moldy pumpkin colorway. And I'm not trying to match up colors or anything. I just basically divided the whole thing into thirds and divided, and that's what I'm spinning. And of course, these are on the super duper fancy bobbins I have that are cut from your bog standard PVC pipe. Really cheap, and that way I can use one spindle and spin all 3 plies. So, and it does take a while to wind them back onto the PVC bobbin, but it's worth it, I think, to be able to get it all. Now this I will probably go ahead and ply it on a spindle as well, but I'll ply it on my big turtle-made Turkish spindle. Now, speaking of turtle-made, most of the rest of my spinning is on turtle-made spindles. Let me see if I can... Okay, so this is from the Painted Tiger. And it is 4 ounces of Falkland in Tropical Rainbow. Now this was not a gradient when I got it. It was a hand-painted. Now, I don't have very much of it done yet. I just have this one little ball done. And it is on a turtle-made spindle. I'm not entirely sure what size this is. It's not the smallest. I think it's the mini. They have the standard. They have a standard, a mini, a nano, and a femto. And I think they have one other size in between the standard and the, standard and the mini. This, I think, is the mini, and it's purple, because I love purple. And this is one of the things I love about spinning on Turkish spindles is they just look so pretty. Now, I'm doing a chain ply as I go on this, so I don't have to worry about plying it. Once it's done and I pull the bobbin off, or pull the center pull ball off, it's done. I will skein it up and wash it before I use it, because I always wash my my spins before I use it. This has been the spindle spin that I've been doing mostly, other than the moldy pumpkin. I've been really working on the moldy pumpkin because I'd like to finish it during Stash Dash this year. So I need to finish that last ply and ply it. So that's going to take up most of my spindle spinning during Stash Dash this year. Now, my plying spindle that I have, my main plying spindle, this is the biggest one, is a turtle-made spindle. And this is their standard size. This is the normal size of Turkish spindles. I just like my really, really small ones. And it glows in the dark because why not? If I'm going to get a spindle, I might as well get one that glows in the dark, right? And cool thing about Turkish spindles, they literally pack flat when you're done with them. They come apart and they take up a lot less room. So I love my Turkish spindles. Alright, now in my Mad Bird Sugar Skulls bag, because I love those. I love it. And this is their spindle bag from Mad Birds on Etsy, and it is huge. I can fit a spindle and 8 ounces of fiber in here with no problem. There's plenty of room. Now, what I currently have in it is a bunch of small spinning projects. I get these little tiny bits that are usually around or under an ounce from Steph Knits on Etsy, and I spin them on my little Turkish spindles. And my light just went away. The sun went behind clouds, sorry. This one is, no, I also got little tags that I got from Etsy. This one is merino, and I'm doing a chain ply as I go on it. And, whoops! Uh-oh, where'd it go? Under the chair. This is the first little bit that I did. And I didn't wind it on right, so I ended up having to pull it off a little sooner than I normally would have. Otherwise, I'd have gotten this all in one ball. I did not record how many ounces it is, or how many grams. It was around 13 grams, I think, of this color. It's just her little bits and bobs of leftover stuff, little bits that came from braids that she portioned out, or dyeing experiments, or stuff like that. So sorry, Jack just heard somebody talking or something, so he freaked out. He does that. Alright, I am also working on, this is some Superwash BFL, again from Steph Knits on Etsy. All of them from this bag are. And this is completely different than most of my other spins. This is a Superwash BFL, and it's orange on an orange spindle, because if I'm going to have a ton of little plastic colorful spindles, I might as well match them to the spinning project, right? Makes sense. And this, I'll probably end up either chain plying it or doing a 2-ply from either end of a center pull ball. And I'm probably about halfway done with it. It's going to be real thin, so it'll end up being about a sock weight yarn. That's okay, Jack. I'm not trying to record or nothing. This one is random wool. I don't know what kind of wool it is. I am also doing a chain ply as I go. And it's Neapolitan colors, and I don't have a brown or pink spindle, so it's on the black one, of this size anyway. So it's on a black one, and it's Neapolitan colors. It's fun. So that's getting a chain ply. Have I mentioned I enjoy chain plying? Random extra wool bits. Whee! Okay. This is some more superwash BFL. And again, I'm hoping to get a lot of these at least worked on during Stash Dash this year. So this one, I'm just spinning a single right now, and I will, again, either chain ply or 2-ply it. And it's a superwash BFL. Lovely green. Yes, Jack. Let's see, do I have any more spinning in here? These are the bits that I pull out when I'm in between projects and just, you know, do a little spin here and there. So they don't get worked on a ton, and that appears to be all that I'm actively working on in this bag. Stuff it all back in. Whee! And I actually think that is all the spinning. Hooray! We can move on to something else. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do blankets next. Just how I'm sitting slightly. And of course, y'all see this on a fairly regular basis. This is the blanket, the big sock yarn blanket. I've been adding a couple squares to it this week. And it's about that big now. Whee! And it's hugely long. This is probably not a project that will get finished anytime in the next, 20 years or so. Jack, calm down. So that is going to get mostly put aside for the summer soon. It is getting very, very, very warm out. I am sorry about the dog, y'all. Really, I am. He's a sweet dog, but he barks at everything. It's just getting too warm to sit under a big pile of wool. So as long as I can, I'll continue to do a square here and there on it, but pretty soon it's going to be just put aside for the summer. Now what I'm hoping to finish before I put it aside for the summer, this is my Moorland blanket, and it's not very far along yet. I'm going to be working on it a little bit this afternoon. So I've gotten a few stripes done. Let's see if I can pull it up so you can see a little better. And this is using Stylecraft Special DK that I ordered, and the colors recommended on her blog. This is a pattern from Lucy of Attic 24. And it's crochet. It's a very simple, well, I say simple. It's simple-ish. It's not terribly difficult, but it is probably some of the most difficult crochet I've done. But given that most of my crochet has been in the manner of crochet a tiny little baby hat, that's not saying much. But it does have these pretty waves. You can kind of see. And I am enjoying working on it. So I'm going to work on that some this afternoon. Also crochet, I have my super duper fancy project bags. This is just a basic granny stripe, also from Attic 24 blanket, out of some leftover sock yarn. And these have all gone into the big huge blanket and they're still left over. I've only got 3 colors in it so far. This is Knit Picks Hawthorn and Delphinium. This is Regia Floromania. They're neon colors. And this is Play It Life Jest in the Nutter Fluff gradient, which I know it just looks white, but there's actually some brown in it. And I'm working on the next stripe, which is String Theory Fiber Arts. Yeah, String Theory Fiber Arts. In the Fluorite colorway, it's stripy black, gray, and purple. And I just pull that out every now and then when I feel like crocheting, but can't keep track of all the changes in the Moreland blanket. So that's just basic crochet. I've got 2 more crochet blankets to show y'all. Okay, this one is out of some Plymouth Yarn Sakata and basic, a lot of different cotton sock yarns. This one's Regia cotton. This is, I'm not sure what this one is. And these are generally cotton wool blends. Here's the one that's not in. Mark and Catton's Clown, apparently. Cotton blends of sock yarn, cotton, wool, nylon usually. And I'm doing little crocheted hexagons. And I'm not very far in this. I've only got a few little hexagons, but this will probably be most of my blanket working this summer because, like I said, sitting under bunches of wool, not gonna happen. So I've seamed these 3 together. I'm just using a mattress stitch seam, and it's just meant to be a general crochet blanket. Nothing special about it, other than, you know, I made it. It should be a little cooler than a lot of the wool ones I'm working on, so it'll probably end up being my summer blanket if I ever, you know, finish it. Alright, next. Okay, so this next project is special. I say that because I didn't start it. This was given to me by my grandmother. It was started by her aunt, whose name was Selma, and it was started in the 70s, and yes, it shows. And she never finished it. Now I put the last, with the help of my other grandmother, we put the last round of crochet on it, on some of the blocks that were missing it, and I just need to sew it together and put a border on it. Yeah, it really is that bright. This is Hunter Orange, y'all. Hunter Orange, teal, and 2 colors of brown. Fortunately, is Red Heart Super Saver, so I was able to get a brown that is very, very close to the center one that I'm going to use to sew it together and put a border on it. Both of my kids want it, so I don't know what I'm going to do on that. It may get used back and forth, it may get put on the couch and y'all share it, or I'll take it away. I don't know. I am really, really hoping I don't have to get those colors and do another blanket. Because, yeah, they're bright. And I've just grabbed all of them and thrown them in a plastic bag. It didn't come in a bag or anything, so I gotta get those sewn together and a border. That will hopefully be done at the end of Stash Dash. Alright, these will not be done anytime soon because I still need a whole bunch more, and I don't quite have the sock yarn. Okay, different sock yarn projects I have when I have 10 grams or more left over. I am knitting basic bias squares in garter stitch. I've got about 2 bags about this full, and I'm about halfway done. And I'm calling it my mindless sock yarn squares. And it will probably be done within the next 2 years or so. If I really sat down and worked on it really hard, I could finish it this year, but I don't want to repeat too many colors too many times. I want to have a good variety because it is supposed to be a scrap blanket. So, yeah, that's one of the bags. Alright, I have one more knit blanket and one weaving blanket. Okay, knit blanket. And my bag recently ripped, so this is going to need a new bag. This is the Polygon blanket by Tin Can Knits. I am using a bunch of worsted weight wool that I have. Most of it is Cascade 220, not superwash. And I am using size 8 knitting needles. I am casting on with a 10.5, and I'm using the crochet cast on so it's good and stretchy. So when I block these, because they do need to be blocked, it will stretch. And I have random ones done. Most of them are solid. This one's one of the few that's not. And I have not worked on this in a while. I've just been working on other stuff, so it's not gotten much yet. And I don't know how many I can get or how many I have. This is all the yarn I have set aside for it at the moment. Random Cascade 220 purples. There's a lot of those because purple. This is 220 in blue. This is some Hobby Lobby. Oops. I love this wool in yellow. I've got 2 skeins of that. This is some that I dyed with Kool-Aid. This is the lemon lime. This is one of the few ones that's not a solid. I dyed this one as well with Wilton's cake dyes. I've got this one, but I haven't knit any squares out of it yet. It's darker. Or not squares, but polygons. And I have some brown sheep serendipity tweed set aside. And the border I will knit out of, I've done just one polygon out of this. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in Blackberry, I believe. And I'm going to do the border in that, because I have several skeins of that. And the woven blanket is the only other thing I have left. The only other blanket I have left. Let me clarify. This is being woven on Hazel Rose 4-inch pin looms. And then I am putting these squares together in 4-patch arrangements. I haven't decided if I'm going to have the seam on the front or the back yet. It's not really going to matter. I am probably going to end up felting this one when it's done, so it's not really going to matter too much. And this is holding a live loop. When I'm doing these seams, what I'm doing, it's almost like crocheting the seams together, so I don't have to have any extra yarn. It's just take loops and crochet them together. And I've got this one. And I've got this bag ready to join. And I've got 2 other bags about this full as well. And I'm using as many of the 150 colors of Knit Picks palette that I can get. I have most of the colors. I just have to sit down and finish weaving. And every now and then I pick up and I do a few squares. I'm doing about 6 squares in each color. So I'll have a good variety. And yeah, so I've not been working on that one too much. That gets a lot more work done on it in the summer, and the big mitered square sock yarn blanket gets work on it during the winter. That's just how it works out for me. Now into stuff that's not blankets or spinning. This is a mini skein set, gradient set from Play It Like Fiber Arts in the single man tier colorway, and I'm doing a basic crochet shawlette. Really, it's not really a shawl. And I am on the 4th of 5 colors. I've got one more color after this, and it will be done. It's some more mindless stuff that I pick up and work on occasionally. It's a good travel project because it fits into a very, very small, this is a quart size Ziploc bag. It fits right in. Then I have this, which I have not worked on recently, and I'm not sure why. I just haven't. This is the River Dragon Shawl by Raven Knits. And I've gotten a few rows of it done, and yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not. I swear. I've just been working on trying to get stuff done for knit-alongs, so it's kind of been pushed back a little. I hope to have that done by this fall so I can give it to my grandmother. That one's for her. It's got beads in it. Next I have, and this will get done in the next few days. This is Dream in Color Starry in 3 different colors, and I literally have that many ends to weave in and it's done. That many ends and blocking and it's done, and I haven't done it yet. So I used 3 different colors and I did a striping pattern. And it's just basic top down, garter stitch edge, garter stitch border, increase on either side of a center stitch. And yeah, that's it. The rest of it's in stockinette stripes. Nothing super exciting there, except it does sparkle. I've mentioned my love of sparkle before. Let me show that one. Haha! This one! This is a sockhead hat out of... Do I have the card in here? I do not. It is in one of my Slip-Stitch Studio bags. This is Nerd Girl yarns in the Goonade colorway. It's just a sock head. I've got about another inch to go, and then I'm going to start my decreases. And again, it's been put aside to work on, so I could work on stuff for knit-alongs. And this is the last thing I have that's not a pair of socks. That will be the biggest section, I'm sure. This is a hat that I started for my husband. It is the Cool Hoss hat pattern, and I'm working on the rib. But my yarn broke. This is about half of it. No, more like a third of it. And I can't find the rest of it, so I haven't been working on this. It's very sad because, you know, he'd really like to have an army green hat, but I haven't been able to finish it because I can't find the rest of the yarn. And that is just out of some Cascade 220 Superwash. This one is Superwash. And it's on a pair of Clover Bamboo size 7s, I believe. Yes, 7s. 16-inch size 7s. And everything else should be socks. There's still a lot of stuff over there, y'all. I haven't even gotten through half of it. Okay. Let's start with this. This is a bag I got from Subway and their kids' meals. My kids would get the meals and then they'd not want the bags. I took them. It's got Iron Man. I believe I've discussed my love of Marvel before. This is a pair of plain worsted weight socks for my husband. I have finished the heel flap and I'm starting on the gusset. This is on size 5s, a 9-inch circular. Knitter's Pride, I believe, circular. Now the cuff and the gusset and probably the toe, I was also using my Neko curved double points. Yes, they are supposed to be like that. These are like the most fascinating thing I've seen in a while. You use 3 of them, 2 to hold the stitches, the 3rd one to knit with, and it is for knitting in the round, and it's very similar to the 2 circular method except you're using double points. Now I've been having a lot of trouble with ladders with them when I'm using them, and I'm not sure why. So I actually had about half the leg done, and I had this giant ladder running down the center of it. So I pulled back, put it on the 9-inch circular. But I'm still using these to do the cuff and on the second one, the heel flap and the heel turn. And yeah, those are just plain socks. Hobby Lobby, I love this wool that I had in stash. And he doesn't really need the worsted weight socks right now, so I've not been working on them. I actually worked on those when I had to have my wisdom teeth removed, so I worked on those while I was waiting for the dentist and sitting in the dentist's office and stuff, so yeah. Those are fun. Glad that's over. Okay, this is sort of a me project, sort of not. I got from Cottage Looms, I got this little sock loom. It's a 64 peg, and I've started the cuff of a sock on it. Now I'm going to do the cuff and do the first couple of rounds of the leg, and then I'm going to give this to my 12-year-old son to learn how to do. I have knit him several pairs of socks. He has neglected to take care of them, as in he doesn't even know where they are right now. I know for a fact one of them is in the floor of the laundry room because I saw it earlier today. So, in order to teach him, you know, hey, this is how much work goes into knitting a pair of socks, he is going to learn how to use the loom. Also, it might be a good thing for him to learn. He's actually been pretty excited about it. He's been itching to learn, so not much has been done on that lately. All right, in my TARDIS bag. Oh, that one was in a from Bird Leg Bags. It's got mushrooms and hedgehogs. Okay, in my Slipstitch Studio TARDIS bag. My April shower socks, which I have not worked on recently. My wrists and hands have been hurting a lot lately, so I haven't been able to work on. This is not a 9-inch circular. This is an 8-inch, Addy 8-inch circular, and so I haven't been able to use it very much. So these have not gotten much work done on, but they're coming along. I'm past the heel on the first one, and I will eventually get them finished. This is Knit Picks palette yarn in 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. And it's in this bag because this is like the biggest one I have. It's the only one that they fit in right now. It is, I mean, it fills the bag. Now, I also have in there a set of Knitter's Pride Nova cubics. Now, this is what I use for the cuff and the heel, and I'll use for the toe. I am not very good at purling at all on those tiny little circulars, so I always have to have some double points to start it and to do the first few rounds, to do the ribbing and do the heel and the toe. But that's okay, just keeping them from casting on more stuff, which is, you know, not a bad thing. Alright, and this is another Subway bag. I know, I'm so classy. These are a pair of knee-high socks that I'm using Knit Picks yarn. This is Knit Picks Stroll and Duchess Heather. This is Knit Picks Felici in Countess. And it's got a cable running down the front. And I'm through the heel the calf decreases and onto the main part of the leg on these. So this is coming right along. I started those in January, so those are actually fairly recent start. Not as recent as the April showers, which were started in April, but still, they're not as old as some of my other works in progress. All right, let's see. In my Princess Leia tribute bag from Slipstitch Studios, this is a pair of plain vanilla sport weight. Now you'll recognize this, returning viewers will recognize this from when I went to Kansas City and I had most of a leg and a heel. I didn't like my gauge. I hated my gauge. It was horrible. It was way too loose, and these are intended to be a gift for a friend, and I couldn't give them to her. It was just, yeah, they were too loose. I would not have felt good about that. So I moved it onto a size 2 Knit Pick circular. This is online sport weight yarn. I'm not sure of the colorway. And it's coming right along. I've got it 2 at a time right now. Now I just restarted these maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm probably going to pick them up and work on them a lot this weekend. So, alright, in my C. Jane Sew Avengers bag, because seriously, look at that, it's so cute. Okay, so in that I have a pair of socks that I'm working on from yarn from Devil Bunny Dye Works. It is the DB Twist sock, which is 100% superwash merino. This is the main color, which is Siberia. All the contrasting colors come from the Don't Do Anything Stupid Until I Get Back mini skein set. This is based on Bucky Barnes from Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now, this is the cuff of one of them, and I have finished the very first colorwork section on the other. Now, I'm alternating going back and forth between them because as I get down the leg, I imagine my colorwork tension and stuff is going to change some, and I want to keep them sort of the same. I have them on a pair of Chowgu mini interchangeables. I have a mini set and an extra 40-inch cable. This is the Otis sock pattern from Rachel Coopy. And I've got the first section. This is Buy Me Some Plums. This one is going to alternate between Buy Me Some Plums and Ready to Comply. This one will alternate between Pull Me From the River and Till the End of the Line. That's the other name. They're all down here. Okay, here we go. Whee! Okay, so this is the 2 for the first one, and this is the 2 for the second one. So they'll be fraternal twins rather than identical, but that's cool. I like that. And this one I really want to finish by the end of the month, so this is going to be my main project for the next couple of weeks. It is for the Socks from Stash group, whose this month's is do a pattern from a book, and that one's from a book. The other one that I want to finish, the other one I'd like to finish by the end of this month, and I finished the first one last night. This is from a Girll's Art sock blank in the Psychedelic Flowers. I want to finish this. The Grocery Girls are doing a monthly sock knit along, and their prompt for May is flowers, of course, May flowers. So this is my May one. I finished the first sock. I did not bring a blocker in here to put it on. The colors, man. I am using the Prairie pattern. Now this has not been blocked yet. I've gotten all the ends woven in, but I have not trimmed them. But it has not been blocked, so the stitches are still kind of wonky. Once I get it blocked, they'll even out some. It's got a nice little twisted stitch pattern on it, and it's a lot of fun to do. It goes real fast when I sit down and work on it. I mean, I maybe sat down and worked on this 4 times, and I mean, it really did not take that long. While I was finishing my Mercedes Lackey audiobook, I was working on this because it's really easy to work on and pay attention to something else. It's not a mindless pattern. It's not plain vanilla. It's just a little bit beyond plain vanilla. And it's fantastic. I love it. I like that pattern. I'm going to do a second pair of those for my grandmother. I'm going to do out of kind of a deep burgundy yarn that I have, which is the color of her living room walls, so I know she'll like it. So I plan on doing that for her. She's had a very rough couple of years, and she loves wool socks, but she doesn't knit, she crochets. She's working on learning how to crochet socks. She's not had a chance to learn before now. But, you know, every now and then I knit her a pair of socks. She also has much smaller feet than me. They're about 2 inches shorter than mine, and I don't have very large feet, so they go really, really fast. Alright, this is also in a C. Jane Sew bag, my Hufflepuff bag. And these are my Fred and George socks. I have gotten just past the heel of the first one. And the yarn is, let's see, I'm doing the cuff out of Cuff Heel and Toe, Valley Yarns Huntington in brown sugar. Which this is pretty much the perfect usage for this yarn because it is extremely splitty. And I like really, really sharp needles. Like my favorite needles are Haya Sharps. And when you're working with a splitty yarn, a sharp needle actually works against you. You really want to use a dull needle with a splitty yarn. So yeah, it's working well enough in this though. And I used for the cuff. Ooh, I have a giant bend in these needles, y'all. I'm sorry. I need to straighten the needles. This is a size 0 Knit Picks 40-inch circular. That's what I'm using for the cuff heel, and I'll use for the toe. I'll magic loop for the toe. Again, because I don't do those very well on a 9-inch circular. But I am using a Haya Sharp circular for the actual body of the sock, which is in Nomadic Yarns in the Fred and George colorway, which is the Weasley twins. If I finish them this month, it will be for the inside number 23 Harry Potter knit-along. We'll see if I finish it. I am right now staying right on track with finishing a sock project for that knit-along every month. If I can finish these. If I don't, I'll whip out a very quick bulky weight hat and use that. But I am really hoping to get socks for it for all 12 months. We'll see. Either way, I want to have something for it for all 12 months. We're getting there. Okay, this is another pair of knee highs that I am working on. This is the There and Back Again pattern. It is a colorwork pattern. I am using Malabrigo in Chocolate Amargo for the cuff, and this is I don't have the tag. Okay, this is Fleece Artist. I believe it's BFL in Sangria, but I don't have the tag with me. I am on the first one. I've done the cuff, the first colorwork, the calf decreases, the heel. I've chosen to do a Fish Lips Kiss heel on these, and I am currently on the second colorwork portion. And they're not going very fast. They're not for a knit along, so I don't do them very often, and as it starts to get warm, my desire to knit on knee-high socks goes down. So these have not been worked on, but it is in a Star Trek project bag. And I'm calling these my Mount Doom socks, because There and Back Again. Yeah, I'm a geek, I'm sorry. I believe this bag was sewn by the Freakish Lemon, but it was a gift, so I'm not entirely sure. I do know he did some project bags similar to this out of this same fabric, so I'm thinking that's who it was. I could be wrong. Alright, in this project bag, which is literally its worst weight held double when I crocheted it. This pair of socks. Okay, so I did the cuff. I did like 3/4 of the leg. I was on the heel increases for a strong heel, and it was too tight, so I had to pull it all the way back and increase stitches. This is a pair of socks for my husband. The cuff yarn is Valley Yarns Huntington in this deep gray. This is String Theory in Geosmin, I believe. Something rock geo flavored. Yeah, I lost the label. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I pulled this last week. I bit the bullet. I put it all on this. I picked up all the stitches around the cuff, and I pulled out the entire leg of the sock. So it's currently in timeout because I'm angry at it. Because why didn't it fit? I mean, obviously, I knew it was going to be too tight when I did it, and I did it anyway, so, you know, why didn't it tell me, man? So, that's in timeout right now. Okay. Bird leg bags and sugar skulls. I have this exact fabric to do curtains for my room out of. I'm excited. This is some Diamondback socks from last year's Tour de Sock. I finished the first one. I did not ever finish the second one. I am working on the heel increases. It probably won't be my first finish for Stash Dash. Stash Dash is a Knit Girll's knit along, and it starts May 26th this year. It probably won't be my first finish, but I should finish it in May or June for that. So I'm on the second one. I'm on the heel increases. It has kind of a strong heel. It's worked in wedges back and forth with a ribbing section in between. So this super duper variegated yarn, it works perfect for, because you get these pretty little diamonds of color. If anybody's wanting to do this pattern, I'd suggest get the wildest variegated yarn you can find and use that. This is some Manos del Uruguay yarn, and I think the colorway is called Carnival. I could be wrong. I don't have the project tag anymore, or the yarn tag anymore. It's around, maybe, unless I threw it away. That was started in July of last year. So it was mostly in timeout while I recovered from being sick. So, alright. We're almost done. I see like 3 more things over there, y'all. This is in another bird leg bags, and it's got owls. Pretty little owls. I love owls. This is my Hufflepuff knee highs. This is Knit Picks palette yarn in black, and I believe cornmeal is the other color. It's either cornmeal or semolina. I can't remember which. And I'm using the stripe pattern from, I believe they're called Ravenclaw Pride or House Pride socks. Anyway, I haven't worked on it in a while because it's black. And while I don't debate that I am definitely a Hufflepuff and I like the black and yellow Hufflepuff theme, black yarn is hard to knit with, especially when you're doing a heel flap and gusset. It is hard to see the stitches. So it's not gotten much work done on it lately. But I'm in a brighter room now. This room is brighter than my old room. So it should be a little easier to work on. I'm hoping to finish that this summer sometime. I was right. 3 more things. Alright, this is my travel project currently. It lives in my Slip Stitch Studio coffee bag. This is some opal sock yarn and Knit Picks Stroll. I'm not sure what color it is. I think it's Stroll Brights in electric blue, maybe. It matches the blue and the opal. And I don't know what color at all the opal. It's either opal or Regia, but I'm pretty sure it's opal because it's 100-gram ball. I got it as a gift from one of my knitting friends who had it, and she didn't have a tag for it. It's a superwash wool nylon yarn, I can tell that. But it's just a basic sock. I started with 64, did 2x2 ribbing, increased to 72, switched to my pattern yarn, and it's on a little Hiya circular, 9-inch circular. I have a second one in there that I'm going to try to do the heel on, but if that doesn't work, I have 24-inch circulars in there to do the heel and toe on if need be. I don't often use the 2 circular method of knitting, knitting in the round. I just don't do it very well. I usually try to either magic loop or small circular or double points. But I do occasionally do the 2 circulars for stuff like that. And this one, y'all have seen this before, probably every episode since I started recording. These are the Gimli socks. This will be my first Stash Dash finish. I am just waiting on Stash Dash to finish the foot of. I am past the heel and gusset. And I have maybe 2 more pattern repeats, I think, to do for the foot, and then these will be done. It is my longest non-blanket work in progress. But it's getting there. I'm making progress slowly, and it will be sent to a friend of mine in Scotland when I do finally finish it. Excuse me. Sure, writing up. And last, I cast these on, and that is literally all I did, and now half the stitches are off, so this is getting frogged. But this is some Knit Picks yarn that I dyed red, white, and blue. My son wants a pair of socks out of it, so this is going to get frogged, but this will be my next cast on, is going to be these. And believe it or not, I think we have reached the end. After over an hour of talking, y'all, that is it. I did not count how many projects that was. It's a lot. Hopefully, most of this is planning for Stash Dash, which, as I said, is run by the Knit Girlls. Awesome podcast if you have a chance to watch it. And it runs through the summer. From this year, it's from May 26th through August. Usually it runs around August 15th. And it's a purely yardage-based knitting challenge. And it's literally to get people to work on their works in progress. Specifically, Laura of the Knit Girlls. She is as bad as me when it comes to knit works in progress. Sorry, it's very long, very tired. So hopefully when I do this again in August, there will be much less projects. I know for a fact I am missing at least 2 things. I am missing a spinning project that is just waiting on being plied. That is the Steph Knits one that I said. And I am missing a granny square blanket that I am working on for my husband in red, white, and black yarn. I don't know where it is. I couldn't find it. So it didn't get brought in here. But other than that, this is pretty much all of my works in progress. I know I have a problem with this. I have 2 friends, Kelly and Catherine, and I can tell just as I'm recording, I know their eyes are twitching, you know, just finish something, finish something! So, I promise I will finish something. I will probably finish something this week, in fact. I will finish either the Otis socks or the Prairie Flower socks this week. That's going to be my goal for this week. It's Wednesday now, so we'll see which one I finish. Now I think I am going to, well, I guess I'm going to put all this stuff up before my husband gets home, so so he actually has a place to sit. Otherwise, he's not going to have any place to sit. So, right. I don't know when I'll record next. It'll be sometime in the next couple of weeks. So, I'll see y'all then. Bye.